Can you tell me your name, please? Are you going to go to school here at Central High? You don't care to say anything, is that right? This girl here was the first Negro, apparently of high school age, to show up at Central High School the day that the federal court ordered it integrated. She was followed in front of the school by an angry crowd, many of them shouting epithets at her.
In a little tent, oh, and just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
As we comb the streets of Chicago, we study one common thing among these citizens: blackness.
When I first hear the term blackness, it sounds pretty vague. It sounds, the first thing I think of was the color black, which is beautiful. But of course, there's a race of people who referred to as black or colored or Afro-American.
Right.
And that there's a richness in that. There's a rich legacy. And with that, you're talking music, values, and strong connection. Because I believe what Afro-Americans went through, it brought us so close together that the family structure was one that was respected. And unfortunately, today's society is deteriorated. But I believe when you say blackness, Afro-American, colored, it's a strong word, power.
Definitely the origin, everything comes from black, and everything goes back to black. And black is beautiful. Most people look at black as being a negative thing, but black is protection. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It kind of boils down to my whole personal ethic as a human being is based on me being molded through a racist America. From a young age, I'm 40, so when I was younger, they put all the beauty standards out there as like the white woman, and where black women don't even feel comfortable wearing their natural hair. So I had to go through all of that, and so it's more of a struggle, but I mean, it's great. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I like the struggle, you know, because I think it would be boring to be anything but black.
Supreme balance.
That's it?
The womb, creativity. That which all things created come from. That's it.
I've never thought about it, but if I had to say what I think blackness is strength. It's being grounded in truth, grounded in love, grounded in spirituality, doing things and everything is from the soul. Unfortunately, I think in our black community this day and age, our spirituality and our music and everything has become corrupted. I think that's what we have gotten away from. But that's what I would say.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Blackness is the way we are, our interactions with other people. Blackness is what separates African Americans from other cultures.
Blackness means power, beauty, strength.
Yeah. We sell crack to our own out the back.
The charge has been made and made by some fairly moderate people. Gradually, you might call them. At the NAACP, the council, you are moving too far, too fast, following the decision of the Supreme Court. you would have been well advised to let things move along gradually for a while, that you can't overthrow the prejudices of 300 years overnight.
You can't, or maybe you can't, override prejudice overnight. But the Emancipation Proclamation was issued in 1863, 90 odd years ago. I believe in gradualism. I also believe that 90 odd years is pretty gradual.
When the type of growth anywhere, when we get anywhere and get any self-love without that, knowing our history, through the history. That's all I got to say about that. All right.
Where I come from. You ever heard of the Willie Lynch letter? Have you ever heard of the Willie Lynch letter? Okay, it was a letter that was written over 400 years ago that depicts the house nigger against the field nigger, the light-skinned black against the dark-skinned black, you know. And this was wrote over 400 years ago, and the letter was wrote to a T because it's still in effect today, you know. We're still fighting each other about, you know, these things, and it's ridiculous, you know.
Blackness is an attitude. It has to do with pride in how you do yourself, pride in your family, pride in your race. You know, you can't choose whether you're born black or white or yellow or brown. What you do is make the best out of what you have.
And the only disadvantage that you have of being black is to believe in to buy into the concept of inferiority, to buy into the concept that there are certain things you cannot do because of your race. That's the only disadvantage. As I said earlier, you do not choose. Our birth is arbitrary. You don't choose. What you do is make the best out of what you have, and then we built this society, and sometimes we, and I say we, I'm talking about blacks. I don't use African American. There are reasons for that. But we were here. There was a book out called Before the Mayflower. We've been here since 1607, I believe, and the Mayflower got here in 1620. So we were here and greeted them. The Pilgrims said, "Hey, Pilgrim, how y'all doing?" You know, and so we've been here and built this country. Everything that was built in this country, black people had something to do with. We just don't hear about it all the time. And history itself is not made something that history is skewed to whoever writes it. My history is my history. Your history is your history. See? So whatever we write, you see, is history. And sometimes history is incorrect.
See the evil inside. The best people you find, strong and feeble in mind. I stay reading the sign.
Now it's time for a brief history of the United States of America. Hi, boys and girls, ready to get started? Once upon a time, there were these people in Europe called pilgrims, and they were afraid of being persecuted. So they all got in a boat and sailed to the New World where they wouldn't have to be scared ever again.
Oh, I'm so relaxed. I feel so much safer.
But as soon as they arrived, they were greeted by savages, and they got scared all over again. So they killed them all. Now, you'd think wiping out a race of people would calm them down, but no. Instead, they started getting frightened of each other. Witch! So they burned witches. In 1775, they started killing the British so they could be free. And it worked, but they still didn't feel safe. So they passed a Second Amendment which said every white man could keep his gun. I loves my gun. Loves my gun. Which brings us to the genius idea of slavery. You see, boys and girls, the white people back then were also afraid of doing any work. So they went to Africa, kidnapped thousands of black people, brought them back to America, and forced them to work very hard for no money. And I don't mean no money like I work at Walmart and make no money. I mean $0. Nothing. Not a zip. Doing it that way made the USA the richest country in the world. So did having all that money and free help calm the white people down? No way. They got even more afraid. That's because after 200 years of slavery, the black people now outnumbered the white people in many parts of the South. Well, you can pretty much guess what came next. The slaves started rebelling. There were uprisings, and old master's heads got chopped off. And when white people heard of this, they were freaking out and going, I want to live. Don't kill me, big black man. Well, just in the nick of time came Samuel Colt, who in 1836 invented the first weapon ever that could be fired over and over without having to reload. And all the Southern whites were like, yeehaw! But it was too late. The North soon won the Civil War and the slaves were freed. Yep, they were free now to go chop all the old masters' heads off. And everybody was like, oh no, we're gonna die. But the freed slaves took no revenge. They just wanted to live in peace. But you couldn't convince the white people of this. So they formed the Ku Klux Klan. And in 1871, the same year the Klan became an illegal terrorist organization, another group was founded, the National Rifle Association. Soon politicians passed one of the first gun laws, making it illegal for any black person to own one. It was a great year for America, the KKK and the NRA. Of course, they had nothing to do with each other, and this was just a coincidence. One group legally promoted responsible gun ownership, and the other group shot and lynched black people. And that's the way it was all the way to 1955, when a black woman broke the law by refusing to move to the back of the bus. White people just couldn't believe it. Huh? Why won't she move? What's going on? Man, all hell broke loose. Black people everywhere started demanding their rights, and white people had a major freaky fear meltdown, and they were all like, run away! Run away! And they did. They all ran fleeing to the suburbs where it was all white and safe and clean. And they went out and bought 250 million guns and put locks on the doors, alarms in the houses, and gates around the neighborhoods. And finally, they were all safe and secure and snug as a bug. And everyone lived happily ever after.
Black or white skin, we all God's creation. The truth in one's color lies within, but time and time again, we don't acknowledge the end. Who and what I am, they solely sin. Why can't we look within to see the true measure of a person? Blind to color to see character. All humanity is skin. Don't you see? We're killing our own family. We're killing our brothers and sisters, killing our humanity. When will it all end? For however far we reach, if we succeed or if we sin, we all fall to slaves to the color of our skin.
Blackness also means beautiful. I was raised in an era where we were socialized and trained to defend the idea of black as beautiful and to defend our integrity and to fight for liberation from white power structure and white supremacy and its many negative impacts on brown people's lives.
The beauty of blackness, and there are a lot of beauties, the beauty of blackness is that I can really travel all over the globe and meet people and intersect with people who look like me. And even if we speak a different language, we still share some aspects of our lives where the experience is similar. So being black means I can walk in a room and I can tell people are having a good time, even if I can't understand one word they're saying. You know, or in watching the way that people express themselves in terms of music or express themselves in dance, you know, I can feel like I'm at a Bud Billiken parade, you know, if I'm down at the Bahamas at John Canoe. So blackness means seeing connections, connecting across the diaspora, but also sharing a common history, sharing a common struggle, and trying to live and survive within that common history and struggle.
Blackness, well, let me start out by what we've been taught blackness is. We've been taught that blackness is bad. Blackness is poor or inferior. And that's a misconception, but how do we get those conditions placed out of your mind? Well, first of all, you have to expose yourself to knowledge that blackness is good. You got to expose yourself intellectually through reading, surrounding yourself with people who have a positive opinion of black people. And their actions have to show a positive image of what blackness is.
Black to me reminds me of like the Harlem Renaissance. There was like an outburst of art and science and philosophy and poetry and writers. That's me because I'm a teacher. So when I picture black, I always picture something beautiful, like just like ancient Egypt. It reminds me of ancient Egypt a lot. Just beauty, tradition, cultures, beautiful people. That reminds me of.
Are you afraid? No, I'm not. My attitude is that this is a great cause, it is a great issue that we are confronted with, and that the consequences for my personal life are not particularly important. It is the triumph of the cause that I'm concerned about. And I have always felt that ultimately along the way of life, an individual must stand up and be counted and be willing to face the consequences, whatever they are. And if he is filled with fear, he cannot do it.
I gotta get up, change my mind, get focused. I can't stand around on the wall being posted. I'm wasting time, seconds, and minutes in this life just searching. Cause me hanging out and not thinking about my future ain't working. How will I live? What would I do? It's getting too close for me to be worried about you. You're not that important for me to be sitting down, concentrating, contemplating. And if I'ma cuss you out, stress you out, that's nothing I wanna be about. I'm about to get out of this safe place, haven. All this luxury will be taken. I gotta think now. I gotta think back to when I was this tall and had dreams. Not the thoughtless nonsense I have now. You know, go back to the ones that mean and follow them. They come in your mind when you sleep for a reason. You been a traitor to your heart, the crime is treason. I gotta get this life together like the pieces of a broken heart. You ain't gonna trick me no more, cause now I got a brand new start. Knowledge I will retain, God's love I will gain. I'ma get my name known and have no fear of flying. And if I don't do it before my time, then I'm just gonna die trying. Thank you.
Black people have a tendency, after they get to be about 30 years old, to start worrying about the idea that young people don't have it together. The funny thing is that every single generation of black people thinks that the generation coming behind it doesn't have it together, doesn't know about politics, is somehow less politically aware. And in fact, what you hear a lot now is a lot of criticism of hip-hop. What's funny is that black folks my age who grew up on hip-hop, they're not necessarily critical of hip-hop altogether, but will say things like, well, the hip-hop when I was growing up was political, but the hip-hop that these kids are listening to is not political. And I always think that's unfair. Young people are always going to be the future, the vanguard of any movement. And so I think that instead of just writing off young people as not political, we need to think about where is the politics and the things that young people are talking about.
Always coming at us with that religion. And every time, it would go in one ear and out the other.
Kane, do you care whether you live or die?
I don't know. Come on, man, let's bail. Come on.
I read the paper today. It said they caught the Washington snipers. It went into details of how they were Muslim fighters, but Muslims are supposed to uplift the black people so one day our voices can be heard loud and proud. So why do I hear they took out a black child? Now I don't know if they did it or not, and that's not relevant. But it's in me as everything bad that happened Muslims fought since September 11. They say we are together since that day's event. They say we are one amongst each other with no evil intent. Do they want to befriend us or is it just fear? Because they know it's millions or more Muslims over this global sphere. Do they want to befriend us or control us? The Chinese man didn't want us shopping in the store before the war, and the white man didn't want us living in the neighborhood before the terror. Then Bush wanted to get on TV and say this is a brand new day in era. Like he's 10 feet tall and say it's going to crush Iraq's leader and change its law. What he means is he's going to destroy that culture and take their oil and thrive over their weakness like an evil Goyle. I remember when Clinton was in office, yeah, that was the good old days. Now we got Bush in his savage ways. He is just like the rulers in the older age who ruled their country with terror and rage. Back in the olden days, the war would break out over simple things life shouldn't be about, like land, spices, vegetable, or let's say oil. This is what mainly caused chaos and toil. We had to have new world order because our very livelihoods was on the border. We stopped the printing of thinking because we had plenty to lose. Now don't these actions seem similar to you? Bush comes in and destroys the way, and we still think everything is straight. And he ain't gonna stop until he causes a disaster. But it's not his fault, it's Senior Bush, the puppet master. So Bush puppet self don't deserve to be in office. And now until he is out, now me, you, but black people as a whole will be forever haunted.
We
we have a great show planned for you today. The topic today is, what have you done for black people? We have been through Martin, Malcolm, and the Civil Rights Movement. Today, we're faced with new problems such as the exploitation of our culture and baby mama drama. The question is, what have you done for black people? Condoleezza?
First, we have to ask, what is the question? Well, there are a lot of them. I mean, us. We Negroes, African Americans, must help ourselves first. Because if we don't, how can they help themselves?
So what are you saying?
As National Security Advisor, we had no prior knowledge on this question. But I went to Howard and I graduated at age 16 from high school. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about.
So what are you saying?
My mother always told me I could do anything I wanted. And this administration is committed. Thank you.
Well, moving on. 2 quarters. Oh, sorry, I mean 50 cents. What have you done for black people?
First off, yeah. Oh, what else, man? What?
Excuse me, we're trying to conduct a show here.
Hey, yo, call me back in about 10-20 minutes, all right?
$1.99. Please answer the question.
First off, free Tony, yeah, yo. Look, I've been shot 9 times. 9 times. Like I say in my rhymes. Because I'm a PIMP, so you have to math.
Go, go, go,
Anyway, next we have Jesse Jackson. Here's up. Well, what is it that you exactly do?
Well, responsibility is tied to my ability, essentially, keep hope alive.
Amen. Yeah, whatever. That has been today's Let's Talk About It. We thank you for watching the show, and we hope that you had a great time.
I think TV and movies and other kinds of mass media have played a major role in the way that we think about race in general, but about blackness in particular. And I think that's true not just for the way that white people, the dominant culture, thinks about blackness, but has really shaped the way that a lot of black people think about themselves. And I guess one thing that bothers me about thinking about the media in that way is that it feels really disempowering. So I always try to think about ways to flip that kind of power relationship. I think you can be really powerful in how you consume media. So if you see something negative, you can turn it off, you can write a letter to the TV station, you can talk to your friends about not going to see a film that has negative images in it. You can make your own media, which is what this project is about. So even though I think there has been a really negative legacy in terms of especially television and film representing blackness, we're not totally stripped of power by those media either. We can do a lot of things to intervene.
The best crib, the best clothes, hottest whips on the road, neck and wrist on froze. Checks with straight all across the globe. Watch got 3 time zones. Keep the digital phone up to his dome, 2 assistants, 2 bank accounts, 2 homes, 1 problem. Even with the O's on his check, the po stop him and show no respect. There a problem over damn straight is called race. To motivate the J to give chase. Say they want you successful, but that ain't the case. You live in large, your skin is dark, they flashing light in your face. Now who is the cat dining out on the town? HUD wanna take a whole year to sit him down.
Mr. Nigga, nigga, he got the speakers in the trunk with the bass on crunk.
Now, who is the cat at Armani buying wares with the tourists will be asking them, do you work here?
Mr. Nigga.
So what do you think the future holds considering the way people view today's youth?
Yeah, you know, what I hope is that young people do what they've always done, which is that they just have to wrest power from older folks. I think that if we were to just look at the kind of dire things that older people say about young people, the future doesn't look bright at all. But in the time that I spent at Kenwood over the past 5 years, I know that young people have an analysis. They're thinking about race in complicated ways. They're thinking about the world as an international and global place, not just a local place. They're thinking about commodification of blackness. They're thinking about their own futures. They're thinking about the issues of family, responsibilities, and personal self-sacrifice, income, all of those things. So I actually think the future looks really bright. We just have to be sure that we're willing to step aside and give young people a chance to lead.
Yeah.
One time.
I was born by the river in a tenement, and my poor mother, she could hardly pay the rent. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change gonna come. Oh yes, it will.
2 times.
It's been too.
When asked what does blackness mean to you, most people say black is beautiful, but most people don't accept their natural black beauty.
Do we not see those standards of beauty that the white culture has created?
Beyond the sky.
I feel that blackness can be viewed as a beautiful thing in our eyes, but a very horrifying thing in the eyes of the powers that be, even in this age, even after the civil rights movement. I think people are still scared of blackness. That's it.
Say Wyclef, say Wyclef. Yeah.
There's a lot that can be said about the beauty of the black community, but I think what strikes me most is the warmth and acceptance. I'm sure I have been more easily accepted in the black community than a black person would in a white community.
Blackness to me means meeting the odds. A group of people that refuse to be destroyed. A group of people that remain united under fire. It means strength. It means survival. It means love.
Black culture represents strength. We endure so many things. We endure all of the hatred, all of the things that are thrown at us. I personally am extremely happy and proud to be a black person because it shows my strength and my beauty.
I personally believe being black is being blessed.
Overall, blackness means unity and blending into a mixed culture.
Blackness resembles the struggle of the past and the relief of the future. It represents the courage, strength, and determination of our people. Blackness, in my opinion, means completion.